Hey everyone, you're responsible for Volcano's Vono, and instead of doing a normal Vono, you're going to do a foldable. Your foldable should have 3 flaps. The first one goes with section 1 of chapter 9. It's called Volcanic Eruptions. The second one is Effects of Volcanic Eruptions. And the last flap is Causes of Volcanic Eruptions, which would be section 3 in chapter 9. On the front cover of your foldable, you should have a picture of a volcano with the parts that are listed in the picture. You should have a magma chamber and the vents as well as the lava that comes out. You do not need to color this, just make sure you have the parts labeled. This is on page 252 in your book. When you lift the front cover of your foldable and you're on the very first tab that says Volcanic Eruptions, on the bottom part of that flap you should have created a T-chart, and on one side you'll have explosive eruptions and on the other non-explosive or quiet eruptions. The information about these two types of eruptions can be found on pages 251 and 250 and 251 in your book. Now on the next flap, labeled Effects of Volcanic Eruptions, you are going to create a table. Your table will look like the one in the picture. It will have 4 rows going down and 4 columns across. In the very first column you should have the type of volcano, so that would be shield, cinder cone, or composite. In the second column you'll have a picture of that type of volcano. Please make sure that your picture looks like mine do, maybe a bit neater though. Make sure you label the different layers because that basically is what makes the volcano type so different. In the third column you need to tell me how the volcano was made. You can find this information in the section in your textbook about the different types of volcanoes. And in that very last column, you should tell me the type of eruption that that volcano has. It might be explosive, it might be non-explosive, or it could even be both. Please be sure you read carefully from your textbook. Now for the last flap, you'll be reading pages 262 to 264, reading about how volcanoes can be formed in 3 different ways. We've already talked about these 3 different ways. You should be familiar with this. What you're going to do here on this last flap is imagine that the dotted line in the middle of this picture is the fold in your foldable. Everything above the fold is going to be pictures of how the volcanoes are created. And I have listed the page numbers for you, and on the very bottom of the flap you're going to write a description of how they're formed. So you can find information about volcanoes that form when the plates separate on page 262. You can find information about when plates collide and volcanoes are formed on page 263. And you can find information about hot spots and how they are formed, like Hawaii, on page 264. When you are done with your foldable and you believe that it is complete and nice and neat, you may go ahead to the link Volcano Explorer. It's a fun site that shares some information about the different types of volcanoes. It shows you the different parts of a volcano. I believe it shows you where many volcanoes can be found on different types of plate boundaries. And you can even make your own volcano, a virtual volcano, by changing the viscosity, which is like the thickness of the magma, and the gas levels. So when you do that, you'll change it from explosive to non-explosive. And when you go ahead and click on it, it will tell you what kind of volcano you have made with those settings. And then you can watch it erupt. Have fun!